Seeing unusual, bizarre or unique places is not unique to Thailand. I know, there are unique places in many other places around the world. However, it was in Thailand that most people felt like they saw a lot of amazing things in a very short period of time. So let's go on adventure to this country more than 12 hours away from home. Rest assured, I will make you travel this far in much less time. Fasten your seatbelts and let's fly to the land of smile. About 12 kilometers from the Thai city of Chiang Rai, we find Wat Rong Khun, a unique place in the world, which stands out for its white color. That's why many call it the White Temple, and has become a reference for both locals and travelers. But why is that? In 1996, artist Shalem Shai Kosit Pitat presented several plans for the construction of a temple that would serve both the spiritual interest and that of travelers from around the world. This is how the story of Wat Rong Khun began, a temple which, according to the plan designed by Kosit Pitat, will be flanked by the 9 other buildings which will be built gradually. But let's return to the White Temple, a sanctuary for Buddhists, who represent 90% of the Thai population, and Hindus, and the characteristics that make it unique in the world. It is characterized by its white color and the use of pieces of glass in the plaster that sparkle in the sun. The white color represents the purity of the Buddha, while the glass symbolizes the wisdom of the Buddha and the Dharma, the Buddhist teachings. Indeed, every detail of the temple and its structures, such as the cycle of rebirth, bridge and the gate to heaven, has meaning and encourages the visitor to reflect on the Buddhist teachings that show the way to escape temptations, desires and the greed of the world, to refocus on the essential, on your mind. After all, you will ask me, what makes this temple different from the others? At Wat Rong Khun, the explorer can see a spectacular mural that represents certain Western values. In this case, they are alluding to violence and consumerism, which is a little weird. You can see the Twin Towers falling, various politicians mixed with superhero images and images of the King of Pop, Pikachu or Angry Birds. If you want to visit it at some point, it is located in an enclosure which, as we said, is unfinished, since in theory it will be housed up to 9 buildings. However, it is possible to discover other gems, such as a wishing well where locals and visitors toss their coins while making wishes. According to legend, a man who made a wish for wealth fell into the tunnel and did not emerge drowned by the amount of cash. So be careful what you wish for. I'll let you guess if this anecdote, of course, is true or false. The Mae Kong Railway Market, about 90 kilometers from Bangkok, has the particularity of being located on the tracks of an active train. Yes, I'm serious. The food stalls, vendors, buyers, tourists and the train coexist in rare harmony. As each time the train passes, the market and openings are quickly dismantled and goods and people are moved aside. And as soon as the train completes its 200 meters journey, everything returns to normal. This happens 8 times a day. The history of this unique market was born when the railway began to develop in the country. There was already a market in Mae Yong, and instead of moving it, we decided to keep it. Over time, the market became famous and today it is a place very visited by tourists who want to see, record and photograph such a curious moment. The train passes through the market stalls, where they practically saw each other. What is curious is that everything is very well controlled and practically no accidents have been recorded, except about 8 times a day, apart from almost no accidents throughout its history. Mae Klong as such is not more special than any other market. It is a passage of the train that makes it unique in the world. The action begins with the train whistle blowing and people have 5 minutes to gather everything together. Remove the awnings and warn curious tourists to move aside so the train can pass. The result is a paradoxical and strange scene. One of Thailand's humblest trains is greeted like a movie star and everyone walks towards the train like they are on a big set. From below, the scene is also strange. The stands are arranged so that they can dismantle a few seconds before the convoy passes. One of the biggest treasures of the market, besides the passing of the train, is that unlike many other markets in Bangkok, there are not too many tourists, so you can enjoy your market in the pre-West Thai style and take truly spectacular photos. Away from the tourist circuits of Bangkok, the Siraj Medical Museum, nicknamed Museum of Death, is a medical museum in the Thai capital located in the Siraj Hospital, the oldest in Bangkok and still frequented by the royal family. It is not a museum like any other. It brings together a large sample of human bodies, different pathologies, physical deformations, and countless examples for forensic science. Not everywhere in the world those forensic museums exist, and if there is, they are not open to the public. It is only in Thailand that they have decided to open it to everyone. Founded in the middle of the last century by medical professor Songkran Nyum Sen, the museum is part of the Sirja Hospital complex, located in what is now the oldest part of the city, the Tonorbi district. The original intention was to allow students of forensic anatomy to complete their training, but the museum gained enough popularity to diversify its audience in its approach to gallery exhibitions. A curious fact is that there are testimonies of mothers who admit that they find comfort in the possibility of visiting from time to time their dead children, preserved in formaldehyde. At the base of the glass urn containing the inert, suspended body of a 2-year-old boy or toys bought by visitors moved by the plight of the drowned child. This is real information found on the internet. I know this is unbelievable sometimes. In addition to local school children who wander the corridors on guided tours, tourists and curious foreigners are attracted by the powerful magnetism and strange atmosphere of the museum. At the same time, it's clear that you don't see that everywhere. Besides science, founder Songkran Nyum Sen, a professor of medicine, wanted to teach that life is fragile and must be treated with care. How does he do this? It shows smokers' lungs blackened by tobacco smoke, drinkers' livers ravaged by alcohol consumption, hands, arms, feet, legs and heads severed in train and car accidents. Or again, the skull of a victim of a crime, pierced by the bullet of his executioner and the stomach of a suicide burned by the acid with which he decided to end his days. Another message that the founder tries to convey is the inclusion of the bodies of criminals and rapists exposed there, warning that those who misbehave will not go to heaven and are condemned to remain in this world, making an allusion to the fact that their remains were not cremated as required by Buddhism. The best example is that of the body of the man who probably became the museum's most famous tenant. CK was a Chinese immigrant arrested by police in 1958 and, according to the official version, confessed to murdering 6 girls and a boy to eat their hearts and livers in the hope of achieving immortality. The Chinese immigrant was executed without trial the day after his arrest, and Professor Songkran requested his body for an autopsy in an attempt to find possibly physical abnormalities that could explain his murderous behavior. Professor Songkran's anatomical examination revealed no abnormalities, which did not prevent the body from being preserved by injecting it with kerosene and then subjecting it to a process of drying the limbs, organs and tissues. The result was added to the collection, in which CK's body appears naked and erect, with emptied eyeballs and open mouth, revealing upper fangs. After the Butchery Museum, let's think a little about the vegetarians among us, with the Phuket Vegetarian Festival, which was founded by Chinese miners working here in the 19th century. They believed they were suffering from illnesses because they had neglected certain religious traditions. So they decided to purify their bodies according to Chinese tradition, by eating only small amounts of special foods and refraining from eating meat. The ritual worked, and over the years, it became a major purification festival believed to bring good health and luck. However, the strangest aspect of this festival isn't the fact that everyone goes vegetarian for a week or so. Interestingly, during the festival, some people believe that they can allow certain spirits and ghosts to enter their body and not feel pain anymore. These people are called Ma Conscian and engage in the most gruesome self-harm during the festival. Most of them pierce their cheeks with everything from umbrellas to knives to bike chains. This bizarre scene isn't for the faint of heart, but it's definitely a unique experience. In addition to self-harming their faces and parts of their bodies with strange everyday objects, locals walk barefoot on animals and refrain from eating meat during the 9th lunar month of the Chinese calendar, believing they will be rewarded with excellent health and peace of mind. Are you ready to come celebrate? If you like this video, you can always like it and share it. It's always a pleasure for me. In any case, I can see you here on this same channel next Friday for a new adventure. Bye bye!